Coach Kim with Wife Life Academy, and I'm here with an episode of Ask Me Anything Thursday. So here's the question I received anonymously, and some of my thoughts on what this sister shared. So she said, part of my fear is marrying a man and being hindered by him. For example, being able to pursue my career fully because of having a family. So as much as I want a godly relationship, how can I let go of this fear? Is it a rational fear or is it just a lie from the enemy? So first, let me thank you for sharing, because I know that a lot of sisters share this concern, right? Things will change when you get married, and that's the truth. And then when you add children to the mix, all bets are off. Everything is different again. So you do have some legitimate concerns, but let's talk about them, because there's a difference between concerns and fears. And you mentioned fear. First of all, fear is not rational. And I find that very interesting that you would ask that question, because the Bible answers it for us, right? The word says that God did not give us the spirit of fear. So if God didn't give it to us, who did? So let's look at what fear is. When we talk about rational, once again, it's not rational. But let's be concrete about what fear really looks like. Fear is not given to us by God, and it's not a natural state. We're only born with two fears, and that's loud noises and falling. Other than that, we don't have rational fears. Fear is a result of things like trauma, something that happened to us or something we encountered in the past that negatively impacts the way that we view life and our place in it. Or fear can be a learned behavior from people in authority who use guilt, shame, blame, to keep us in place. Fear could also come from unanswered questions. When we don't have an understanding, what we do is we fill in the blanks with our own narrative. So if you haven't been married before, or you haven't had children prior to now, you're filling in the blanks about what your future will look like when you do. Whatever the case may be, or however the fears took hold, you want to be sure that you deal with them, because they're moving you further away from the love that you desire, right? So the word also says that perfect love casts out all fear. So when love is perfected, then it's going to cast away the fear. So part of being able to pursue what God has called you to do after you're married is making sure that you're marrying the right person, right? My prayer partner always shares with me, we talk about this stuff all the time, and she says, you got to start out with good raw material. You have to start out, when you're looking at getting serious, do they respect your call? Do they understand it? Do they support it even when they don't understand it? Are they in your corner, right? They don't have to do the same thing. My husband doesn't have the same career as I do. We don't have the same calling, but we respect each other, and we respect the callings, and we support each other. So if you look at those things, you'll be better equipped to make sound decisions. Also, when you say things like, part of my fear is marrying a man, that was one of the phrases that you used. Well, we will never possess what we're afraid of, right? Because when we're afraid of something, we push it away. So subconsciously, you could be pushing away the very thing that you want to draw into your life. Be careful of self-fulfilling prophecy. Also, in regard to fear of getting married, do you have other fears? Because usually fears cluster. And it may look like one big ball, but fears usually cluster. So you want to get with a mentor, a coach, a spiritual mom, a pastor, a trusted advisor, a counselor, and work through what is the root of these fears, root them up, and burn the crop, honey. They are holding you back. And usually fear doesn't only cluster, it bleeds out into other areas of your life. So you may look at being afraid of other parts of your future, or dealing with things in the present because of what you don't know, or some of the other things we talked about, like trauma. In any case, you need to prayerfully consider going before the Lord and saying to him, these are my concerns. And where my concerns have turned into fears, I'm giving them to you, and I'm asking you to deal with them. And then show me what it looks like to pursue my career or my call or the things that you've told me to do as a wife and a mom. I guarantee you, if you pray and you ask the Lord, he will answer. He said, my sheep hear my voice, and the voice of a stranger they will not follow. Ask him. He's waiting to hear from you. Now, all those things said, let me be honest with you. I've been a wife and a mom. And I will tell you, the gifts of God are without repentance, right? That's what the word says. But they do manifest differently as I go through my life stages. So it looked different when I was single than when I was married. It looked different than when I was married and then added on children. But the calling remained the same. It just manifested differently, and I just practiced it differently. So I'm called to be an intercessor. My children would tell you we never had an alarm clock in our home because they would always hear me up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning praying loudly. And they knew it would be time to get up. So now it's a little bit different. The way I pray, what I'm called to pray for and cover is different. So it's not that the calling is gone. It's not that I'm held back. It's that it has changed, and the way that I practice it has changed. And the responsibility I have attached to it is changed. So you want to look at that, right? So it may not manifest the way it is now. I used to work 2 jobs, right? And now Father is telling me, don't do that. That is not the season. That's not what I want you to do now. I need you to focus on this. Has the call changed? No. Has my dedication to it changed? Absolutely not. How I approach it has changed because now I have to consider my husband and his needs as well. So I hope that helped you. And if you have any more questions, please comment below, or you can reach out to me anonymously. I will leave the link in the description below. Be sure to press subscribe so that you don't miss any of our future videos. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Wife Life Academy. Have a great day. I'll see you again for another episode. Bye.